The slow race, that's the whole cool part about it. Look up the Great Race, see how you guys can get enrolled. There's usually a 2-year waiting list because so many people want to do it, but it's something you guys all have to do at least once, right?
Absolutely, it's on my bucket list and we're gonna do it.
Welcome to Sam's Garage, presented by NH Oil Undercoating. Welcome to Sam's Garage. On today's episode, Sam and Doug are making steady progress on the Great Race. The 55 Bel Air gets a new front accessory drive kit installed. The SE300 gets reunited with the 2JZ engine. And the Catalina receives some much-needed stopping power. Sam and Doug gear up for the next leg of the Great Race, leaving Marietta, Ohio, and heading for Frostburg, Indiana.
All right, guys, here we are on the third morning of the race. We are starting off in Marietta, Ohio, on our way over to Frostburg, Indiana. I got Doug very busy in the car. We just got our instructions roughly 10 minutes ago, and they've thrown us for a loop this morning because he's got a supplement sheet that has gone through and changed a lot of the instructions that we have been received for the leg. So that's gonna be another challenge that Doug is gonna have to comb through for me to be able to do my thing. So there he is, all busy in the car. As you can see, we've cleaned up the car. We have a beautiful day. Yesterday on the last leg, on our way to Marietta, it absolutely downpoured, rained like you wouldn't believe. So today is a beautiful, nice day. It's gonna be the mid-80s and we should be good to go. We got the car all cleaned up. We got Doug in here making his instructions easy as can be for him to be able to navigate me where to go. This is all about a slow-paced technical race. It's all in how you can follow instructions and how well the driver can maintain the car, as in be the cruise control with the foot. It's very difficult. It's a lot harder than it sounds. I got my good friends all the way from Australia over here in that Jaguar. They're doing the race. So far, a lot of the people have made it through the legs. We've only had a couple of breakdowns. You can see everybody working in the parking lot on their vehicles all the way up until the rain poured. You guys don't want to miss any of the action. We'll continue on later with more from the Great Race. Morgantown, West Virginia. They are hosting us here for lunch. Here at the Almost Heaven Bar and Grill, everyone gets a free bag of lunch and a goodie bag to take with them. They were able to give us 2 bottles of water along with 2 pastries in case we get hungry.
They grouped us up different today. They put all the rookies together. So it was interesting. We all wound up as a bunch. So what we don't know, were we on time and everybody else was wrong? Were they on time and we were wrong? I guess we'll find out tonight.
And that's what's so awesome about this race. You guys, there was times where we're going 10 miles an hour and it is so hard to get to 10 miles an hour, let alone keep it there for a distance. It is impossible how hard
I know.
it is.
You know, and then everything we're doing is time. If you're at 10 miles an hour, you may have to be there for 25, 30 seconds. And then when I tell you to go, you got to be spot on then to 35 or 45 or more. It's tough to do.
It really is.
It sounds really easy, but it is tough.
Here in Morgantown, West Virginia, all the people come out. They absolutely love it. They're all gearheads. Even the non-gearheads come out to enjoy the crowd.
The people are great. The city hospitality is great. It's just fantastic.
See you at the finish line.
See you at the finish line.
The whole plan with the Great Race is to see how well you guys can follow instructions. And today, we got by the staff. Because of what?
You know, they did a circle loop. So when we came out of the circle, we saw some of the cars go left. We were supposed to go right. We made our turns. We went right. Sam says we had to make a mistake. We're going the wrong way. So we pulled over, we're trying to sort it out, and then we realized the other cars, and I told them, always listen to your navigator. So today the navigator was right, the driver's day was today, but we had a blast.
They said, do not do this. You always only run your own race. Don't ever follow anyone, because there'll be a circle sometimes and they'll be going in different direction and you'll see each other. And I totally got taken by that move. And then we made everything up and that took a wrong turn.
We did everything, so now we're learning the checks and the balances, double check, so when one sees the street name, the other person's gonna verify it, because when I took a look at it, I didn't see what Sam, and he goes, no, I'm sure that's it. Well, guess what? It was a dead end.
Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NH Oil Undercoating. Sam starts the next phase of the 55 Bel Air project by installing the front accessory kit from Dirty Dingo.
All right, so this week we're gonna go ahead and do the accessory kit. We were gonna do the fuel system and get this thing running, but we're still waiting on one big box. So we went to Dirty Dingo and we got these nice accessory kit that comes with billet, cut, CNC machine bracketry. I've got the one for the alternator and the power steering that goes on the driver's side. I've even got the AC bracket that's gonna go on the passenger side. This Bel Air does not have AC yet, so we're just gonna kind of stow this in the trunk for when he does get AC, and then we can install it later. It comes with the tensioner that we need for the AC system. We got the Corvette water pump. We got the power steering pump and reservoir to go with the system. Everything that comes for you to be able to install this is in this bag. So all we got to do is really install it. So what I do recommend is anytime you guys are doing LS pulleys, the crank pulley has to be removed with a puller and put on with a press. So Summit Racing makes this very nice, easy tool that goes into the crankshaft and presses on the crank pulley, avoiding you from having to use a hammer and damaging the thrust bearings. Very important. We've got the crank pulley installed, we've got the water pump installed along with the thermostat. Now we're gonna assemble our bracket here on the table and then very easily go over to the engine and assemble it there. Now Dirty Dingo, when he gives you the instructions online, he's got all the spacers labeled so that when you're looking at them, you can see C, C, D, and put them in the correct positions.
And it's really nice because you go into the part under their website, up at the top there's a tab for how to install, and then you go to your application and it gives you specific instructions, which is really nice. Right,
for all
Sam?
of us who are procrastinators who go to the instructions after we have installed everything, it's pretty nice. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we've got the pulley installed. All right, we got a countersink bolt here, and then you have another bolt that's gonna bolt onto our head. And the reason why we have a countersink here is because that's where the power steering pulley is gonna ride. What we can do is put this on and then go from there. So the next step is going to be for the alternator pulley. So right here is going to be for the sandwiching the alternator together, and these three items here are going to hold the bracket onto the motor itself.
If you find a random letter that doesn't belong, just use the extra letter that you have.
That's exactly right. Apparently Z is A. It happens. So the B's go in first, they sandwich, so we're going to get two more of these. So grab those two.
Okay. Let's
see where they go. Put a B in there, please.
Oh, that looks nice.
Looks very nice. Now, the one thing I am going to do is put a Corvette tensioner on the passenger side, not using this one. I'm going to use a short belt for now. And when Victor decides he wants AC, all we got to do is add a compressor, add a vintage air unit under the dash, and we're good to go. That looks good. Dirty Dingo complete accessory setup. All I gotta do is get me a GM bracket for the reservoir. It's gonna go right there. Everything clears as it should. It works really well. Now this is made in America, comes from a vet. So you guys are doing swaps at home, check out Dirty Dingo. They do a great job. I even have the optional AC bracket in the future. When Victor decides to do AC, we'll go ahead and install that for him. But there you have it, high quality, not too bad on the pocketbook. DirtyDingo.com, check them out.
They have good instructions and they have good customer service. So when you call them, you're going to get someone on the phone.
Good job. our go-to cooling system is going to be cold case. They do a fantastic job with the thickness of their cores, the efficiency of their cooling. They've got full aluminum construction. Look at the fan shroud. This is what you want when it comes to a cooling system. It completely covers the core. You got a pair of fans that together will flow over 3,000 CFM. They also sell everything you need to complete your kit as far as the wiring goes, the ground triggering sensor, along with a very nice cover for your radiator cap and the relay. If you guys want peace of mind and you want affordability and you want efficiency, the cold case is the way to go, just like you saw on the Bel Air. Now, if you're going out for that murdered look that you see a lot today, a lot of black accents on cars, they've got a line out coming for you called the Night Rider. It's going to be powder coated black to match all that murdered out look you got on your car. I know that's going to be popular. All we're going to be missing is a little flashing red light going left to right. If you don't see an application for your car, just measure out your radiator, give them a call and see what application they have on the shelf that'll best fit your car or come close to, and you can do some modifications and get them installed. You want to check out Cold Case because they have everything you need and it's priced right.
Welcome back to more Sam's Garage, presented by NHOU. Travis's S300 Coupe is coming along. Sam tackles installing the 2JZ engine in its new home.
We're back on the Lexus SC300 this week. Now, if you guys don't know the history on this car, it belongs to a very good friend of mine, Travis, who used to race with me back in the NDRA racing series. That's Nopi Drag Racing. Yeah. And we built it 17 years ago, but then the recession hit, so it sat in storage for 17 years.
That's a long time.
It is, it is. So you have to go through the engine and everything else. But here we are. We're getting ready to put that engine that we built back in the mid-2000s into the vehicle. The only thing I had to do was cut off the 4-bolt for the wastegate, because that wastegate is obsolete. I'm going with a V-band flange, 44mm from Summit Racing. Got that installed, got the manifold back on. Now we're ready to put the engine in the car, and after that, we'll be able to put the transmission in.
This was like a whole time capsule in itself. You got really lucky that Travis took such good care of it and kept it in storage, because really this thing should have been a mess. And all parts. I mean, there were parts that were still in the boxes, but you're kind of missing a point. I mean, it all fits.
It does fit.
Because of some modification that, you know, most people might not want to do. You have to
or maybe afraid to do.
Yeah, you have to be really comfortable. I wouldn't do it, but you know, he doesn't mind cutting through the fuse box.
Yeah, just got to know what's important, what's not important. You're always going to have to do some modifications to get what you need to get done. This engine does come in this car in a non-turbo fashion, so the intake manifold and the exhaust manifold is going to be a little bit different, but the inline 6 in the middle is the same, except for the head. So the rest of it fits like it should. We're good to go. The engine is tilted back, makes it easier for me to be able to put my clutch kit that I got from Grannis Racing in, along with the transmission. Once those items are in, then I can tilt it back up and finish completing the installation. So in the MK3 Super drag car I had, I actually moved the fuse block to underneath where the wheel well is so I can fit the intercooler piping and the throttle body. But in this case, all I did was notch the fuse block. There was a huge hole at the very bottom of it, and the TPS can live right there all day long. There's plenty of room for it. And I got plenty of room to run a 4-inch hose to run my intercooler piping either on the left side of the frame rail or make a hole and go right through the bottom of the engine compartment right there at the frame rail. It's looking pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
We got the engine in. This is not the way it's gonna sit. It's tilted up a little bit because we've got a piece of wood in the front to bring down the back where the bell housing is. That way we're able to easily put in our clutch kit and the transmission. Then we'll take the wood out of there. And the turbo looks really good. The housing, don't look at that. I didn't get a chance for Miller to coat this one for me, so I'm gonna call up DEI, give me a nice turbo blanket. I'm gonna give me some header wrap, go around the headers themselves. That header, believe it or not, is from 2006. And it's gonna fit a lot better once we get the intercooler piping in, the transmission in, level, downpipe. There's a whole lot to go still, so stay tuned next week. We're gonna go ahead and put in our Grannis Racing transmission kit along with our T56 Tremec transmission.
Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NHOU. The Pontiac Catalina gets an upgrade in the brake department with a new set of Willwood big brakes.
All right, so this is the week that we upgrade the brakes on this Catalina. Now, they don't make anything for it.
Nothing.
Nothing. So you have to get creative and see what kind of crosses over from the other GM cars. So you can go to Willwood, pick out that brake kit and install it, and I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that. So guys, if you're doing this for a customer, or if you have time when you're doing it for yourself, this is the perfect time for some maintenance. Take a look at the upper control arm bushings, look at the ball joints. The bottom ones have been replaced because they're bolted in from the factory, they're riveted in. Top one looks okay, it's riveted in. I could always do this for myself later down the road. So this is a 1968 Catalina, and they don't make anything in the aftermarket for it. So I called up Brian over at Willwood. I said, what can we do? He goes, well, I've got kits for, let's say, an Impala, 1964 Impala. I talked to Torrey de Blasi. He said, it looks like it may work. I went to Summit Racing. I got me Impala front spindles. I got me the matching steering arms, because on the Catalina, it's wider by almost an inch when it comes to the mounting points down here. And then I went ahead and got the Willwood brakes for the Impala, and this is a 12.19 setup. It easily fits just barely behind the 15-inch wheels that I got from Summit Racing as well. So as you can see, I got the whole assembly installed. What I did this time is I assembled the whole assembly on the bench, putting it all together, shimming everything, making sure everything is fine, and that way I can just put it on, R&R spindle. It's much easier that way. I got my brake line hooked up, and now what I'm going to do is install the master cylinder. And the cool thing is, the Willwood master cylinders are aluminum construction. They come in black, they come in polished. They're very lightweight. They're not going to turn on you. They're not going to look dirty or nasty a year or two down the road. Because when you look up under the hood of a vehicle, most cases your eyes go straight to the booster and the master. Now the booster is nasty, and I don't have time to do anything with it because it's a real bear to get it out. Now Willwood also sells a nice adjustable proportioning valve that comes with brackets if you so choose to mount it like the old school on the master cylinder itself. It's adjustable, it's mechanical. You've got two ports for the front, one port for the rear. You'll tee off at the axle. Very nice setup, just as attractive as the master cylinder itself. All right, well, the Catalina now has Willwood big brakes. And the master cylinder looks really good. Black to go with the rest of the sinister look on this thing.
Absolutely.
We got done bleeding the brakes. Now, if you guys feel that there is no fluid coming out of the rear, the front brake lines are all new, it's trickling out the back. So the next thing you need to look at is going to be the flex line that goes from the hard line over to the axle. Replace it. This thing's a 68. I don't know the math, but it's pretty old. All right, then we went to Summit Racing. I got me a set of torque thrust old school Krager wheels to go with the rest of the look, and the center is almost the same color as the Catalina itself.
Yeah, it's gonna look good.
It is gonna look good. I'll have you come up with the name for this one.
Be sure to check out Sam's Garage on these other media platforms. Send us questions and feedback to info@samsgaragetv.com. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Sam's Garage. Sam and Doug are now in Frostburg, Indiana. The 55 Bel Air has the front accessories installed. The 2JZ engine is now home in the SE300, and the Catalina got a big brake upgrade.